Hey, Frugal Family. So, I'm going to show you what I do, what I prepare and cook and eat for a week. It's not exciting because I don't have 7 kids, but this is how I make my life so much easier. And I'm not skipping meals, and we're not picking up Chick-fil-A because I finally got myself organized and learned how to really prep realistically and only prep what I really need help with. And I know back in the day when I was raising the kids, I would prep these big meals and then I didn't want to cook them. I just didn't like the whole concept of it. I've done everything. I've cooked the meals, or I prepped them in Ziploc bags. I've done all the things, but this really is what I discovered that worked for my family the best. And it is on Sunday making a huge meat meal. And so this Sunday I'm making a meatloaf. Now, I used to use a meatloaf packet from McCormick, and then I started to experiment with my own seasonings. I still rely on seasoning blends, commercial seasoning blends like garlic, pepper, and Himalayan salt, that kind of stuff. I love that. I love garlic peppers. And they have all kinds, and even Penzeys has some great blends. And one of my favorites is Mrs. Dash garlic herb. And that just, I like it. And, but it saves time. I don't have to be mincing garlic, but I do like to have onions in my meatloaf. I don't have a bunch of little children that I need to hide veggies from. I'm actually the child that needs to have veggies hidden. And what I missed an opportunity of, maybe hiding some carrots in my meatloaf. I'm kicking myself. I got to remember that. At least add carrots. Carrots or, maybe some broccoli. I don't know how that would taste. But yeah, but that's an idea. So what I did there is I took 2 loaves of my multigrain bread, and I ran it through water, and it just became mush. And that's how I do my breadcrumbs. I mean, I've done the breadcrumbs, and that's what you young mamas, you young cooks are going to realize. You've got to try it all. It's okay to have your recipes and be, it's familiar, you know how to do it, you know how to get it done. But if you ever have a lot of time to just really get in the kitchen and experiment, try other things. And while I say that, I will tell you, there will never be a time that I'll put oatmeal in my meatloaf. I'm sorry. It's just not happening. I love oatmeal, but I'm just scared to death. And so here I am telling you to experiment with stuff, but I don't know. That's a hard no for me, though. It is. And I have hidden pureed spinach and carrots. I've done turkey meatloaf. I've done lentil meatloaf. Some of y'all remember my lentil meatloaf fail when I was on TikTok. But now, as far as pans, this is probably the best way to make a meatloaf. The grease drips down, so you got to get yourself an old-fashioned broiler pan. Back in the day, your oven came with one of these, but these new ovens, I don't know. And then you're going to spank that meatloaf because I don't want any cracks. And it is going to crack, but, try to do the best you can without overworking your meatloaf to get it to stick together. And always wash your hands, as you see I'm doing. Now I'm going to make a sauce, and this is Bear's. Bear inspired me. I do not really know his recipe. I don't even think he knows his recipe, but I know that he likes to mix sauces to make the top meatloaf glaze, and it's amazing. The kids love it, and I love it. So I'm doing, I guess, what he's doing. I know it's missing A1 and Heinz 57, but all we had was barbecue, soy sauce, ketchup, and Worcestershire sauce, and so that's what's in this little glaze. And I just kind of stuck to about, I didn't go heavy on the soy sauce. It's a lot of salt. And it's kind of equal parts ketchup and barbecue sauce, a little bit of splash of Worcestershire, and an even smaller splash of soy sauce. And then you're just going to mix that and, paint your meatloaf. That's what I love. And, when the kids were growing up, and Bear was not on Manjaro, I would make gravy from the drippings because I had some kids that wanted gravy. And so I'd make gravy, brown gravy, and I always had my kitchen bouquet. And our local grocery stores do not have kitchen bouquet, but that is an amazing gravy maker. It just really, even if you get a packet now, go organic if you can, but I also used to use packets of brown gravy, this is so silly, but I wouldn't use the packet to make the entire gravy. I would take about a teaspoon of it to get the brown color, because that packet wasn't going to feed my family of 7. And so I'd make a homemade brown gravy, but I would use a teaspoon of, any envelope gravy mix that they have out there to get the color. If I couldn't find kitchen bouquet, that was my backup. And y'all got to see my paper plates that I'm working with. I found the little wicker paper plate holders. This is so vintage, so retro, I guess. Found it on Amazon. And I will link that in the descriptions. But yeah, I also got my moo. I have 4 now. I have 4 new moo-moos that I absolutely love. These are just classic grandma moo-moos. I used to wear the big oversized pajama shirts, but my daughter was saying, "Mom, they're getting ratty looking." And so she bought me 2 for my birthday. And then I love the way they feel. I love the fabric. And so I bought 2 more for myself. Well, they come in 2s. So, and that's my meatloaf meal. It was so good. Who doesn't love a classic meatloaf dinner with mashed potatoes, vegetables? Oh, I have some so good. Leftovers for lunch in here. And then I have this for dinner tomorrow. I don't have a microwave here at the house, so this just goes in the oven. I have used the slow cooker setting on my rice cooker. I do have a microwave at work, so that's that. And then this will be for day 3, where I can either make a meatloaf sandwich, or I can freeze half of it and then use the other half for sloppy joes. We'll see. And then you just remove the top grill part and soak that, but all that grease is in a aluminum foil, and you're just going to have to, you are going to have to wash it, but there is no cake on anything because it all dripped onto the aluminum foil. But I like it because the meatloaf isn't swimming in the fat, and it's and menopause has just made me gain 20 pounds. I'm not happy about it because I always gain it in my face. But anyway, so because of my meal prep, I have oatmeal. This is my breakfast. And then later that night, I had leftover meatloaf. I'm going to go ahead and make a sweet potato salad with chickpeas and shallots and a honey mustard vinaigrette. And basically I just, it's got a little bit of olive oil, which I will never do again. The base of vinaigrettes are usually some kind of oil, and I just don't love olive oil unless it's on something Italian. I'm going to stick to the avocado oil. But it wasn't too bad. I had to put a little bit of maple syrup, and I'll put the recipe at the bottom, and hopefully it'll taste better if you don't use olive oil. And some of you love olive oil, so you're just got to try it with that. But it's Dijon mustard, honey, a little bit of maple syrup. They do have a different flavor taste. This is horrible footage. And they roast really quick. I didn't realize that. So at 350 for about 20 minutes. Yeah, that was pretty good. It was delicious. I liked it. And I just heated it up because I don't really like to eat the potatoes cold. And that's what I ate with my lunch. This week my lunch was peanut butter and honey sandwiches. Usually I make a chicken salad or a tuna salad, but because I was having that sweet potato chickpea salad, I just decided, and by the way, I forgot to add roast broccoli with it, but I remembered. So the next day when I was packing my lunch, I stuck some broccoli spears in it, heated that up, and it was delicious. And I would just eat that as is. And then about an hour later, I would make myself a peanut butter honey sandwich. So I guess the way I've been eating is that I do not eat unless I'm hungry, and I eat little somethings. And so I have not been eating breakfast early in the morning. I will sometimes, on average, eat around 11:30 my oatmeal. So I'll have my oatmeal at 11:30 with some herbal tea. Then at around noon, I will have, something. This is it. This is the chickpea salad with broccoli in it. And a very disgusting chicken salad from a pouch. I'll never buy those again. I took one bite and was so disgusted by it. And then around 2 o'clock, I'll have my slice of bread with some peanut butter, honey, and a banana. And I'm not starving when I get home. And that is the whole thing, is just to feed me when I'm when I'm actually hungry, and not let me get too hungry that I'm just eating anything. That's my problem. So yeah, and that was the next day, because this is just I'm in loving it. When I got home, I had that gift, a vintage mixer. I love it. So when the leftovers are done, what do? Well, sometimes I'll have a breakfast for dinner. Today I had a stir fry. I had a whole head of cabbage. So I just sliced some onions and sauteed the onions and the cabbage. I didn't go crazy with the seasonings. It was just salt, pepper, sesame oil, and soy sauce. And I stir fried with some jasmine rice and an egg. Actually 3 eggs, so get some protein in there. And I made a big batch so that I could have some leftovers. Huh? The Greek ones?
Yeah, I think next time you do a meal prep, you want to get some chicken breasts.
Okay. And then on Friday night, that is going to be pizza night or burger night. And lately it's been pizza night. And I'm using rolled rolls. I let them rise while the oven is preheating. And and I put the oven on 400 to really heat them up, and it'll take about an hour, and they start rising. And I notice for dough, it's about 4 or 5 rolls to make an individual size pizza. Okay. And it's not the best economical way to do this, but it is easy, and it is so that we can be in control of the ingredients. And but I am working on my sourdough starter, and it's not ready. It is not ready to be making my own dough. So I'm just using what I have, because those rolls were just sitting in my freezer, and I'm just going to season the pizza dough with some olive oil and Italian seasonings instead of tomato sauce, which I have plenty of, but I just using the cherry tomatoes. And and then we both wanted mushrooms and black olives, and that's a mixture of mozzarella cheese and assaggio. And then, we just put whatever we want on it. Bear's was topped with some pepperoni, and I had some spinach that I froze. So I took some fresh spinach, washed it, dried it really well, and then I layered it on paper towels. I'm going to have to show you how I do that whenever I run out of spinach and do it again. And then I just roll it so all the moisture's gone and the spinach is frozen and leaves. And they kept their leaf shape. And I just put some on top of my pizza when I remembered, because as it was baking, I thought, I have spinach I could put on top of mine. So, and then this was just a lovely Friday night meal. We each got our own personalized pizza and relaxed. We watched, what is the name of that movie from the Australian?
Deadlock.
There's a movie on, a series actually, on Primetime, Amazon Primetime, called Deadlock. And I think you can see it on BBC can you see it on the BBC?
I don't know.
BritBox, sorry. Yeah, I think it's on BritBox. It is so good. It's vulgar, but it's good. So they've already had 2 seasons. And I don't think they're going to do a 3rd season. I'm not going to give you the spoilers, but I don't think there's going to be a 3rd season. But it was so good. So we binged on that. And I'm ready for Sunday, where I make another big meat. And then we just do it on repeat. So good, so delicious. And I'm trying to pack my meals with more nutrients and more vegetables. So here we go. Take care.